In every battle manga, there is a power system. In Dragon Ball, we have Ki, in Naruto, we have Chakra, and in One Punch Man, we have the Limiter, a theoretical barrier that restricts the physical growth of a being, and in rare instances, it is possible for certain individuals to break and remove these limiters, which results in the development of immeasurable strength and power. Saitama was an ordinary person with no talent or potential, but through effort alone, he was able to remove his natural limits and achieve strength not measurable by even some of the most smartest and intelligent characters of One Punch Man, such as Dr. Genius. In today's video, I am going to be listing all the potential characters that can break and remove their limiters. Characters that have a strong will to manifest and put effort into the deepest subconscious desires in order to remove and break that limiter. But before we move on with the video, there will be spoilers for the entirety of the One Punch Man series across all of its media, that meaning the manga, the webcomic, and the anime, so you have been warned and proceed with caution. Coming in at number 1 for our first potential character on our list here, we have none other than Mumen Rider. This C-Class rank 1 hero is undoubtedly a determined person. Much like Saitama when he was in training, Mumen Rider is someone who never backs down, even at the cost of his own life. He is perfectly willing to give his own life, even if it means protecting innocent people from evil. Even when it is clear that he has absolutely no chance of winning, Mumen Rider seems aware that he is weak compared to the other heroes and doesn't feel that he is worthy to move up in class because of it. But he is still more than willing to take on opponents for which the Hero Association sends out for A-class heroes or above, if only to buy the stronger heroes time to arrive. This shows his selfless concept of self-sacrifice and his willingness to go the extra mile, as seen with other C-Class heroes when they were running away from Deep Sea King. Although Satoru, Mumen Rider's real name by the way, does not appear to have strength associated with being a superhero, he nevertheless has the drive and willpower to be one. Not only that, but he is one of the few people that is aware of Saitama's strength. This obviously could lead to Mumen Rider finding out about the existence of the limiter and could potentially give him a try to break and remove the limiter himself. That's why I chose Mumen Rider to be one of those potential characters to remove their limiter. Mumen Rider falls into one of this weird archetype in the One Punch Man series where they're a weakling, right? But they're a weakling with a strong will. And, you know, that's very similar to how Saitama was when he was in training. So that's why I chose him. But here at our number 2 spot, I have what could potentially be a very controversial pick. But a pick that I think very well makes sense. And that would be the rank 5 S-Class hero, King. Now, this pick may very well have surprised you, but because, as you may know, King, much like Mumen Rider, is just a normal human with ordinary, if not very little strength and no supernatural abilities. At least, we don't think so. You see, in the public's eye, King is known as the strongest man on Earth, or the hero's hero. Because of this, King achieved almost Superman-like status in which he is well respected by the public and other heroes, even those in the upper echelon of the Hero Association. But the truth is, he is just a normal civilian who unintentionally gained credit for defeating powerful monsters, heroic acts performed by none other than Saitama. With this reputation and status, King now has to live with a target on his back, in which monsters, assassins, criminals constantly try to attack King. And not only that, but all of these expectations set on him and put on him by the public really put King in a very unfortunate situation where he's constantly trying to fend for himself. But we know that King isn't this all-powerful hero that can stop any threat at any time. We know that deep down that he is a coward, a fraud if you will. But not just any coward, he is an extremely, and I mean extremely lucky coward. You see, King has this almost divine, supernatural-like luck with him. King has this intimidating appearance and presence that usually scares off his opponents. And if his opponents aren't scared and are still ready to fight, King usually bluffs himself out of the battle or just runs away. King is highly skilled in bluffing, which makes his opponents think he is formidable, sometimes even rendering them unable to perform their techniques against him. His frightening aura is just so powerful, King actually managed to literally scare a monster to death. Combine this with his friendship with Saitama, not only do you have frightening aura, but you have literally the strongest person next to you at your side, ready to do the deed and stop any threat coming your way. King may not have physical or spiritual willpower like his associates before him, but he, like any other hero, has a strong desire to get out of any seemingly impossible or insurmountable odds and circumstances. Whether it be dangerous or life-threatening situations, King will bluff and use that divine luck of his until he can't anymore. But I truly do think that King not only has the potential to just break his limiter, but to completely remove it. Or maybe perhaps he already did, seeing how every dire situation that he's been put in has played out. He's always made it out alive, whether it be Saitama coming in or him bluffing his way out. But I guess we don't really know. Either way, I'd say that he is lucky enough to be able to remove it. At our third spot on this list is a character that is no coward or weakling. In fact, he's actually quite the powerhouse already. I am of course talking about the S-Class rank 15 hero Metal Bat. Brash, reckless, and confident. Metal Bat is a young, hot, quick-tempered man who doesn't care whether a threat is demon or even dragon level. Combine this arrogant attitude with a bat that doesn't break, and you get an extremely powerful and intimidating combatant. Strong-willed and capable of continuing to fight regardless of the situation, Metal Bat is a very powerful individual indeed. Instead of succumbing to the damage he receives, Metal Bat gets an increase in his physical attributes. The ability is mainly shown during his fight with Garo, wherein he gets tougher, faster, and a lot more durable in his conflicts, where it ends up dragging on. However, his fighting spirit lowers extremely fast when he is at battle, and exhaustion can quickly set in. Even while in battle, it is still possible for Metal Bat's fighting spirit to reach a limit, as he was unable to continue fighting after having been pummeled by Sage Centipede. But what if he surpassed this limit? What if he was able to continue even after his fighting spirit has been drained? Well, you see, Metal Bat isn't just an intimidating warrior, he still has this soft side to him. When it comes to his sister Zenko, who he treats very well and spoils to an extent, he values her very greatly, and even keeps promises between him and Zenko, as shown when he refused to take down Garo in Zenko's presence, despite being attacked by him, due to a commitment to never show her violence. But what if you were to place Zenko, his little sister, in a very dangerous, dire, life-threatening situation? What if we were to place Zenko in that battlefield amongst these monsters where she could get killed? I believe that Metal Bat would get up and continue to fight to save Zenko's life, where he not only breaks his limiter, but removes it entirely. Now, although this may seem like a very messed up hypothetical situation, I truly do think that he has the potential to remove the limiter, especially when you put someone so close to him in danger. Coming in at our number 2 spot, I have Glasses. This B-Class rank 21 hero and former Blizzard Group member is a character that falls into that will-powered weakling archetype that I was talking about earlier. You know, that same category that Moomin Rider and a hero in training Saitama fall into. Glasses is just one of the few people that's also aware of Saitama's strength. Glasses trained hard to become a hero as he initially wanted to become one. He, however, began losing self-confidence after becoming part of the Blizzard group. believing that he and any other average person have limits. These limits that are placed on them where they can no longer keep up with people who have natural born talent. After he was saved by Saitama from a monster and hearing his opinion out, Glasses realized that the only one that had put limits on him was himself. With his thinking of not being good enough to be a hero, and after becoming much stronger, he reiterates this idea to Eyelashes, a Blizzard group member. And since meeting and hearing Saitama, Glasses has begun training that is very similar to which Saitama did. Since then, he has become far more level-headed and confident, remaining calm against the likes of Garo, and even standing and fighting against him. Despite the danger that the martial artist posed, while half-conscious and unable to move, he managed to report his location and even summon Genos. Saitama's influence clearly had an impact on this insecure hero, so much so that Glasses is known in the One Punch Man community as a Saitama V2 or a Saitama 2.0. And I think this is why I believe that Glasses can break and remove his limiter and become essentially another Saitama. Now, we haven't seen much of Glasses, not since that fight with Garo, but hopefully in the future we'll be able to see him where he hopefully has improved a lot more since then, further proving that he has the potential to completely remove his limiter. In the final spot on our list here is none other than probably the most obvious pick, and that'll be Garo. You see, Garo has actually broken, not removed, but broken his limiter before. During his intense battle with Super Alloy Darkshine, where these two exchange blows, at one point Garo is seen completely matching Super Alloy Darkshine's strength, where we see them bump fists, followed with a narration stating that Garo's limiter is starting to break, where we can clearly see his wraps and bandages start to morph and spiral into Garo's abdomen, a clear sign of growth and a new limit breaking form, where he continues to transform, so much so that he starts to resemble a monster, with his teeth transforming into fangs and his skin hardening. It's like his way of showing that he is bald, except he isn't going bald. Instead, he is undergoing monsterization, where he surpasses limits as a human and is now entering a brand new body where he has even higher limits. Saitama and he both have this really strong sense of honor and justice, although their manifestations differ. While Saitama wanted to be like a hero from his childhood who fought villains, Garo wants to be the monster who defeats heroes. And so Garo does what he always wanted to do and runs the gauntlet, defeating heroes and monsters alike, left and right, all for his extremely strong desire to become and enforce unbiased justice. And in a way, Garo kind of achieved this, where he became this figure, this being of absolute evil, where he can commit unbiased justice. But even then, Garo was extremely close to removing his limiter if it weren't for Saitama. But hey, who knows, he's still alive and kicking, and still has the potential to remove that limiter in the future. The limiter itself is still a very mysterious concept. Although I've explained to you what it is, we still don't have solid, concrete evidence of how the limiter truly came to be. Of course, there is the theory that was made by Dr. Genus himself in the story, in which where he says that immense and overwhelming power becomes unbearable for one's body, and eventually they become mindless, crazed monsters. To prevent this from happening, God imposed a limit, or the limiter, on the growth of all living beings. Everyone eventually reaches this upper limit that God has placed on them, where they become unable to develop more strength no matter how hard they try. But of course, in the story, we do know of one character that was able to remove it, and of course, that was Saitama, and hopefully we'll be able to see more potential characters in the future to be able to remove this limiter, where they can continue to develop and grow their strength. But that was it for the list. I only really had 5 characters here, but I could still name a couple more, so if you want a part 2, please let me know in the comments down below. And of course, subscribe for more One Punch Man content, as I will be pumping out One Punch Man content until season 3 comes out, and even after season 3 comes out. So, thank you for watching. See ya.